am happily married to, some of you guys probably already know him, Chevalier. I call him Yule. Everybody else knows him as Chevalier with
Yeah.
Chevalier Life.
Yes.
Um, he has had his business for a few years, and I'm happily married to him, and proud of him, and proud to be his wife and to be his supporter.
That's awesome. It sounds like you have a little entrepreneur spirit yourself. You are managing over 400 doctors' offices. That takes quite a bit of leadership to be able to do that. Just getting into the understanding of the entrepreneur mindset, I would like for you to share with the audience the typical characteristic that may take to uh, support an entrepreneur as well as be an entrepreneur, like the risk taking, the ambition, and creativity that's required. You have any familiarity or experience with that?
Yeah, my parents, both of my parents were entrepreneurs. My father was he owned a construction company,
Mhm.
very prominent construction company in the DFW area,
Yeah.
and my mother owned because she needed something to do other than concrete, so she owned and ran nightclubs and
Oh,
restaurants.
oh,
So I grew up kind of, having two parents that were always, gone. My dad literally worked sun up to sundown most nights. And of course, Thursday through Sunday, my mom was always gone because she ran a nightclub.
yeah.
And so there were a lot of times growing up, that we were kind of raising ourselves. I'm the baby of 10. I have nine brothers. So there were three brothers at
10.
home with me all the time.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So there were three brothers at home with me, kind of all the time growing up that are closest to me. And so there were a lot. I was pretty much kind of raised by my brothers, my latter
Yeah.
years. So
Yeah.
having that, being exposed to that, when I first met my husband, we were both just working and, doing our regular grind. And then when he decided to launch into his business, yeah, I was 100% supportive, but there was the reluctancy there
Hmm.
of fearing that he was going to be absent because I had experienced that absenteeism with my parents.
Oh, good. That's a good way to look at things. Not to interrupt what you're stating, we're going to give a moment to bring in our second guest here. We had previous technical difficulties that prevented that. So, Marco, let's go ahead and introduce our second guest and let's bring her on.
Oh, all right. So she's out there sitting in the bottom corner with us. That's Miss Juicy. Hey, Miss Juicy, tell everybody who you are and what's the deal and how you are an entrepreneur.
What's the dealio? Hey, good evening, everyone, and thank you guys for having me on your show. I appreciate the
Welcome.
opportunity. So I'm Juicy. All my friends, people who know me closely, know that I go by Juicy. But I'm the CEO or CEO and founder of She Smokes. We are an accessories and apparel line geared with the mission, vision, and purpose to empower women to enter spaces that are typically male dominated and to enter those spaces with confidence and style.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
It's
I won't.
nice.
I'll never repeat that. Just text it to me, and I'll post it somewhere.
No problem.
So, real quick, so I want everybody to know that you are Juicy. You are also married,
Yeah,
and in a positive, successful relationship.
yeah.
And this is why we're bringing this all together. I got two wonderful ladies who are in a healthy relationship and doing positive things in this entrepreneurial world.
Hmm.
And I want everybody out there to to express or ask questions about how do you navigate. You know, Fee was telling you about some of her history and about how she grew up around this entrepreneurial spirit,
Hmm.
and and then Juicy, how you are, you hitting this accessory thing running as the CEO.
Yeah.
I feel, um, and then like as I said earlier, and I'm here doing some entrepreneurial things, but I'm the man behind a great entrepreneurial spirit. So I'm trying to be something that's like you, Felicia, just holding things down and making things for the better for the family. All right.
Yes, for
So
sure.
yeah. So
Yeah, but actually, I share both sides of the coin because,
talk to us.
you know, my husband and I are of, let's see, island culture, island heritage. So we got 13 job, man. Like that, the stereotype is real. So we have a lot of jobs. um, and so he has businesses that he does as well. She Smokes is my current, you know, baby, but I've had previous, you know, businesses in the past as well as juggling a daytime job, and you know, we stay busy. We definitely stay busy.
That's great. I do want to jump in here and ask a question just real quick. You indicated you had previous businesses
Mhm.
that you ran. Are you still running those businesses, or is this just a continuation of the entrepreneurial spirit?
Well, I do have the entrepreneurial spirit. I heard Fee, you know, earlier talking about her parents being entrepreneurs.
Hmm.
Mine were as well.
Hmm.
And they're in you or it's not, right? Because
Yeah.
entrepreneurs, you know, even those who don't necessarily quote unquote have a business, you can have an entrepreneur spirit though, right? And so
Hmm. Yeah.
to me, what that is you have a knack to, or to have that mind's eye to be able to identify when there's a gap, where there's a need, and your brain just starts calculating, well, how can I fulfill that need?
Indeed. That's
And you
So
great.
do it fearlessly, right? Typically, entrepreneurs have great ideas, and if they share it too loudly with some, you know, people tend to chuckle and make fun, like, oh, that's crazy, that can never happen. But entrepreneurs, we really, you know, we're very fearless. Like, it makes sense to
Hmm.
us. It might not make sense to you,
Yes.
but it makes sense to us. So
That's
yeah,
that's exactly what Fee was indicating earlier.
yeah,
Risk taking,
oh yeah,
being ambitious, and as you're stating here, the creativity behind the
yeah,
work, just
yeah,
having that mindset to just get in there and bring an idea to fruition that can benefit us all.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so over my life, I've had different businesses, right? And my last one was a transportation company. It was called Peace of Mind Transportation, and COVID pretty much, yeah, obliterated my model, you know,
Wow.
in terms of what I was trying to do. But you know, you never know. With me, I might bring it back. Just
There you go. Run it back.
you
Run it
never
back.
know.
You
Nothing
got
is ever
to
dead.
don't let
so
So
those
so
dreams die like that.
let's
yeah.
stop
I
right there for a
did.
second
Go
because
ahead.
I want to address that, and
Mhm,
this and you and I want you to chime on this too, Fee.
mhm,
When that model got what you said obliterated,
mhm.
how did that affect your household, and how did that the mindset like your husband say, no, because I would wonder if it didn't work and your spouse say, okay, you tried it now, go get a regular job and let's do regular stuff, or do they go like say, hey, that's all right, that's one thing,
Yeah,
we could try something else. If you got something else, I'm with you.
yeah.
How would that conversation go in your household? And I would like you to think about that too, Fee. How would you address a situation like that?
Definitely a good
Well,
question.
so the good news is for us is we never have all of our eggs in one basket, right? And we always have what we call let the main thing be the main thing. So we have daytime jobs, right? In corporate America, or you know, whatever, that's you know, the cash cow. That's what pays the bills. You know, that's the stability
Mhm.
piece, right? The other ventures and things that we try our hand at, you know, those are things that fulfill us. Those are those passions and things that, you know, if they ever reach the mark to where we could just totally let something else go, perhaps we will. I don't know though, because for us, we're so accustomed to doing multiple things that it's hard to just be that one, just focusing on one thing. So
Yeah.
the transportation business, so just quick rundown because I don't want to eat up all the time on the show, is that we focused on our initial phase was to provide transportation for extracurricular activities for kids, right? Because parents, you know, my life story too, I have kiddos. You know, it was hard to be at multiple places at the same time, how we were going to split up. You got football practice here, gymnastics over here, basketball. I mean, soccer. It's just like, how are we going to do this? And then you might have to help with homework at home, and I still got to cook and do the dish. I mean, it's just a lot, right? And so that was what the alleviation point was for peace of mind transportation, is to give kids that transportation, that safe transportation, because Uber and Lyft were kind of new, and
Mm-hmm.
folk weren't really trusting their kids to just get into the car with some random stranger,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so we helped out with that. We had another arm that dealt with elderly, to take them to and from their doctor's appointments, as well as, if they just want to go on their Walmart trip or go get their hair cut or hair done. So when COVID came, right, that was no one, because of social distancing and the fear and everything, everybody was in the house. People weren't
Yeah.
going anywhere. So there was my model, right? It's like, I can't make any money because my vans aren't moving. They're not rolling. So I am a businesswoman by profession. From a corporate perspective, I'm a strategy and accounting and finance expert. So, I know numbers in and out. I plan 3, 5, 7, 10 years, right? And
Yeah.
so when I started seeing those telltale signs and not knowing, COVID was brand new for everyone. So you really couldn't project, is this a 6-month thing? Is this a 2-year? We don't know. This is, brand
Yeah.
new. So, having that insight, just that skill set to kind of know, okay, we need to go ahead and throw in the towel with this one or put it on pause, right?
Yes.
Just to see what happens there. And so for my household, again, we just kind of have to do some shifting, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but support is always there, and encouragement from my husband. Of course, he sees me when I'm 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, frustrated.
Yeah.
And
No
tears in
sleep.
my eyes because I'm not hitting the targets that I need to hit, and I want to punch a hole in the wall or whatever the case is. I might be a little snappy because I'm frustrated. You have a plan. You think your plan is watertight. You've
Mm-hmm.
stress tested it. You've done all these things, and then there's something that comes up, i.e., a COVID that you never could have expected. You never could have predicted that.
Man, knocking
So
everybody
the
off
next
their feet.
plan, was totally like, okay, this is something, yeah, we didn't factor for it. So what to do? Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. I want to ask Fee, from your perspective, when you and your husband set out to create the concept that he has, were there like other ideas? Were there other projects in the works, or was this the one that decided to run with and make it successful?
Well, so kind of like Juicy, we've always, the main thing has been the main thing. He works for General Motors. He's been there for many, many years. And of course, I've been in healthcare for 26 years. So we never lost, we always have had our main jobs. It kind of just started out for him as just something fun to do. He
Hmm.
was invited to go down to Houston to the Black Cigar Festival.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm going to put some products together and I'm going to go down there, and kind of do that. And now here we are 3.5 years later, and it's still going.
Yeah.
But it just started out as, hey, I'm just going to go do this show. I'm going to vend. And I was like, okay, it'll be fun. And so we got all of his stuff together and all these new designs and displays and tons of merchandise. And we went to do it. And
Yes.
it just turned in to be more than what it was, or more than what we expected. But we've always had our regular jobs, so we've always had that to fall back on as
Indeed.
well. And then even right before he started, as Juicy said, COVID was good for me being in healthcare. So many practices had to lay off, and they had to do all these things. So I started a consulting firm,
Mm.
for physicians, because a lot of them couldn't afford, to pay
Yeah.
their practice managers anymore and things like that, those big salaries. So I went in and was kind of doing a lot of the administrative work, and doing consulting. Started a couple of new practices from some doctors who came in from another state and
Yeah.
needed to start their practices here. And so it was a lot going on, which I'm sure Juicy can relate because her and her husband both are entrepreneurs. So it was a lot going on
Yeah.
with him. I had just started, doing my consulting. for physicians, and then he was starting his business. But after things got better, probably about a year after COVID kind of kicked in, I ended
Mm-hmm.
up in a new position. I didn't have time to do mine anymore, but I've always tried to, just be that support piece for him, and
Yes.
just to keep it going. But it definitely started out to just be, we're going to do a vendor fair, and it's turned into a full-fledged business.
Voila.
Great.
Yeah.
Here we are.
We got some
Yeah.
comments here on the feed. Peter McLean, the poet, indicates it's the seed money towards the business. Corporate works when you work it, and then that's another side, but that's important.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
a lot of people try to glamorize entrepreneurship, but there can be struggles too. When
Mhm.
you got it though. And Chevalier underscore life says facts. So
Yeah.
we
Well, you
appreciate those
know,
comments coming in.
yeah. So keep comments coming, like you said, and everything you guys was talking about entrepreneur. I'm a basic person. You know what hustler means? I mean, you know what entrepreneur means to me? Y'all are straight hustlers
Yeah.
in a good way,
Pretty
because
much.
entrepreneur is a hustler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I didn't know
there's
I
no
could
dilly
say that on.
dallying.
I didn't know I could say that on the show.
Yeah, yes.
I'm
You're in a
sorry.
safe
We're
space.
not,
Okay,
You're in a
not
safe
okay,
space.
affirm
This
the
is not
real.
Christian radio.
You know,
Because I
you
tell
know.
people sometimes what it's like for me right now. She smokes is just now 3 years old as of May 11th. Happy
Hmm.
birthday!
Congratulations.
Oh,
Um,
good.
yay! Um, but sometimes, so I'm team of me. I have some people who volunteer time, some of my wonderful girlfriends to help me out or
Yeah.
whatnot. But yeah, we're not grown enough to have employees on the payroll yet. Keyword is yet.
Yes.
Right on.
But I do, oftentimes, challenge myself to, okay, we want to take over the world, but we have to pace ourselves because going back to your point of being a hustler, I was like, I can't cook the dope, cut the dope, and sell the
Not
dope.
all
Like,
of it. Not all of
somebody,
No.
somebody
Well,
gotta do
Even Nino Brown has some soldiers, foot
Somebody
soldiers.
got to move the bricks.
Yeah.
Just got to move the bricks.
I just need
Let
to be the
affirm the
connect,
snowfall.
right?
Exactly. But I think this is a good segue because the next point I think is very
Um,
very important, even from the concept of where I'm coming from, as I am attempting to explore this entrepreneur mindset, and I want to get from you two ladies the aspect of if you can just provide to the crowd the concept behind the administrative duties of becoming an entrepreneur, because a lot of people think, oh, I'm just going to go out there and put my name on a billboard, but there's a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of creativity. As you indicate, you got to cut the dope, you got to move the dope, you got to ship it. So just provide some concept from your perspective of that behind the scene work that is required to become an entrepreneur.
yeah, Fee, you want to take this one first?
Sure. So yeah. So of course, my husband, he started out with getting the LLC. That's first
Mhm.
things first. You get your LLC so you can make sure your business is official.
Yes.
So you've got that process, and just keep in mind every step of the way. There's a dollar sign attached to every step of the way.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you're starting a business from scratch. And unless you're rich and you've got some inheritance that's sitting somewhere, this money comes out of your pocket unless you go out and you get a loan or whatever. So you're using your money out of your pocket and out of your normal daily operations to fund this business from the ground up.
Yes.
And so you start with just first making sure your business is legit. And then for my husband, it was okay. Well, and as you see as well, I'm selling it. I'm selling products, so I have to buy products. I have to have products for my. If I'm going to a vendor fair for 2 days for a weekend and they're expecting 1,500 people, I got to be able to supply my product for that. So the
Yes.
sacrifice comes in from, okay, now let me take this portion from home to get the business going. And we did, and I was fine with that in the beginning. There's always the caveat. I was fine with it in the beginning because the mindset is sooner or later the business is going to pay for itself. But coming from parents who are entrepreneurs, I know that that doesn't happen overnight.
Yes.
And if it's not your full-time hustle, You're having to do it part-time because you have full-time hustle at General Motors, and I have mine in the, healthcare. So the time that you spend is every extra moment that you have in between being a dad, being, running. We had a son that was playing basketball, and we were on the what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it. The board for the fundraiser board.
PTO.
And yeah, but for the basketball team, the booster club, I was drawing a
Okay.
blank. I was the vice president of the booster club. He ran the concession stand for the basketball team at the high school. So in the midst of trying to start this business and get the business going, we were still doing real life. So
Yeah.
in the beginning, the business takes every extra dime and all of your extra time to get it up and running. So it's a big sacrifice for the entire family, not just the one with the hustle of mind. It's for the
Mhm.
entire family.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I would
Felicia.
definitely would agree.
Appreciate it.
So, in advice, that's all great input, Fee. I am big again. I'm very corporate minded because that's the majority of my career. So, you know, things that a lot of folk don't necessarily know to do. I've been privy to it just because, of the environments in which I've worked in. And then I've tried my hand with other, you know, um, jobs that I've done and other businesses that I've owned.
Mhm.
And, some I had to stumble or learn along the way, but, we're here now. But, with the registration and the formation of your company and the structure that Fee was alluding to with the LLC for her husband's brand, there's other paperwork that I strongly recommend that folk do, right? If you
Yes.
have, whether it's a thought, a service, or an actual physical, tangible product, you need to make sure that you protect your intellectual property. And so there's trademarks or copyrights or whatever that is, right? Depending on what lane that you're in,
Yes.
you need to file those things. And yes, it costs money. Some people get attorneys because they're not comfortable with the research and the due diligence and the filing. And that's fine if you hire someone or if you do it yourself, but you need to do that because there are so many people out here that will see what you're doing and they piggyback off of all of the hard work that you've done and they basically steal it.
Right.
Very
Okay.
important that you
And
support that.
so you've done all this work, sleepless nights, you've done all the sacrifice, you've paid all this money to get your business up and running, and somebody just gonna come through and take it? Like, no. So you've got to protect yourself when it comes to that. Separating your personal assets from your business assets. You got to learn to do that because if someone were to sue you and you haven't made that distinction, then they can come after your personal funds.
Indeed.
So, yeah. So, doing business courses, I'm a life learner, right? So, for me, anytime there's some type of education, seminars, tutelage that can help benefit me, my company, and my brand, sign me up because there's always things to know and to do better. The IRS ain't playing.
Right.
No, they want their money. They want their money early.
Yeah.
So you have to also make sure you're filing, the appropriate sales and use, franchise taxes, like whatever you got going on with your business. Do not play with the I to the R to the S because they will seize your assets and make life very difficult for you. One of the biggest things too that I've noticed is that having that hustler and that entrepreneur mentality, because this is more my husband has more of the hustle spirit, just like jump out and do it. Whoa. So he would be someone because for what he does, it's easier to do that, right?
Yeah.
But for what I do, that's not practical because I could open myself up to a lot of risk there. Yeah. So we kind of feed off of each other, which is great. But sometimes people do that. They just jump out. And I look at that mentality as you just trying to hit a lick. To me, that's not the long game. That's not the longevity. Now you can hit a lick, but are you going to be able to, is that sustainable? Type of deal because it can.
And I just want to add a little bit tidbit to that
problems for you. And if you're not staying this, they can hit you with some pretty significant things. So, making sure you
Yeah.
have that, but also your receipts, man, your documentation. You can't just claim, hey, I'm claiming the house, I'm claiming the cars, I'm claiming all of this stuff because I work from home. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There's some fine blueprint to that. You can, you
Show them
know,
receipts.
you can claim a portion of those things,
Yeah.
but sometimes we out here a little raggedy, and we need to dial that back, and do the research and really understand what you're doing, because it could cause you to lose a lot of your assets
Yeah.
not doing it correctly.
Yeah, it's so true. I think sometimes what we may see on IG or Instagram,
Yeah.
Facebook, and you see people out there flashing the money, there is
Oh yeah.
a process. And when you're indicating the paperwork, you have to file those taxes, even if you're not making the money. The state of
Right.
Texas requires you to file a state franchise tax form, and that's
Yeah.
free filing. You don't have to pay anything again if you're not making over a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
That keeps your business up and running and legit. And also the aspect of separating your personal from your business.
Yeah.
Listen to what these ladies are saying. Go out there and get yourself a business credit card.
Yeah.
That way you can charge your expenses for that credit card to the business. And then when you do your write off on your taxes, you have all your receipts right there on printout that if you're
Mhm.
working with a CPA, you can use that, or if you're trying to do it your own way, you have your receipts that we indicate, not just a quote or some type of flashy comment. You have the actual receipts that are required when you're filing. And don't think you can write everything off and get back 50 grand.
It
You
doesn't
better
work
read
like
that
that.
paperwork. It doesn't work like that. You can't
Yeah.
just write that car
So
off.
real quick, I want to touch on something.
Yeah.
We were talking about the financials,
Hmm.
and I want everybody
Mhm.
to just think about when you have a partner who's supporting you in your business, not supporting you per se, but supporting your business. I want everybody to think
Mhm.
about it. How you do? Have to explain that to them, or try to see the vision of, hey, I don't make the money. The money's not going to be here right now. Like Fee was saying, that money's not going to be here right now. It's we play the long game. Now, for
Mhm.
me, because I am exceptional like that, one of the things I had to do,
Toot toot toot
Shameless plug.
toot
yeah,
toot.
no, one of the things I always realize, which is also I like to say is part of being an adult male, is a man. I'm going to, I know your business is going to take financial turns. It's not going always going to be on the
Mhm.
uptick.
Mhm.
And I like to say, okay, like you said, your main thing. I will be your main thing, much as I can.
Right.
I know being an entrepreneur can be stressful,
Mhm.
and what's one of the biggest stresses there is in the world is finance.
Yeah.
Dreams. I mean, I think dreams are expensive,
Yeah,
They are.
they
and
are.
as being the mate of entrepreneurs, like we have we so there might be times we doubt. Just like I'm sure the hustler may doubt, like, is this really worth it? Like, babe, I know my baby's on out here using her fingers in the chat. Babe, and watch this. What do you do every day? And watch what she write. But even as an entrepreneur, sometimes the partner of an entrepreneur, there's gonna be times like, I wish they give this up. But then we have to
Mhm.
check ourselves. No,
Mhm.
because it was me, or I'm not going to never give up on them because they're damn sure not going to give up on me. And that's one of the things we have to adopt in our mindset when being an
Yeah.
entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Everything they do is betterment for the house, the family. And that's just that I like to tell anybody. What the hell she do? She said work. No, quit, lady. You quit every day.
Work.
I know you work every day.
Mhm.
I rub your back every night. I know you work every day.
Yeah, but that's great what you just said, Marcus, because you can't really speak for the other person that's in a relationship, right? But ideally, you definitely want to partner with someone in whichever type of ship it is, right? I call all kind of relationships different ships. Um, but you definitely want to partner with someone who supports you. Okay, because it's a very real thing that when you have the thought, the passion, the dream, well, that's my dream, that's my thought, that's my passion, and you may be excited about it, you may think I'm crazy and say, girl, that ain't gonna never work. But it came to me, this is mine, right? This is my baby, my seed or whatever. So I don't necessarily need you to believe in what I'm doing, I just need you to support me.
Right.
Yeah. And
And that's,
sometimes that's easier said than done
yeah,
because I am going to support you. I do want to support you because, like you said, you don't want someone to give up on their hopes and dreams, especially not at my hand. But I also think what I struggled with, as in a moment of transparency, what I struggled with in supporting it was, is it worth it?
yeah,
Because that the job that this business that he has, it's customer facing,
hmm,
and in the beginning, to get out and to get his name out and to be out, he was away from home a lot, and a
I
lot
know.
at nights. You got to go in the cigar,
That's what
you
I'm
got to
doing.
go. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're in the
yeah,
cigar. Nobody's in the cigar lounge at 9 o'clock in the morning. They're out there at 9 o'clock at night.
yeah,
So there were a lot of nights that, and being married and been in a relationship for a long time, I wasn't used to that.
yeah,
So having to not be upset, try to be
Mm-hmm.
supportive, then
yeah,
he wanted me to go a lot of the time. So sometimes I would go, but then I just get my hair done. And then he's like, hey, we got an event tonight. And I'm like, I don't want to go to the lounge. I just got my hair done. I don't want my hair smelling like smoke tomorrow. I got a
yeah,
meeting.
yeah,
And so
Yeah.
it took a while. I mean, I struggled. I struggled a lot in the beginning with trying to be supportive of my husband being out at night, 4 or 5 nights a
yeah,
week. It wasn't easy
yeah,
because we were just used to working 9 to 5. We go to happy hour, whatever the
Yeah.
kids got going on, and we're back. Um,
yeah,
but I had to take a step back. And one, like Marcus said, I know without a shadow of a doubt that if I was doing this, my husband would support me 1000%. And if I drug him to Africa and back, he would just come right along and he would never complain. He would never complain.
yeah,
And I had to realize that this is his dream. And
Mhm.
whether he's living out his dream the way I think he should, or if it's not moving as fast as I think it should, it's still his baby. And my job is to still support him with his baby.
absolutely. Happy spouse, happy house.
Yes. I have a question. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Um, if there was a situation or scenario in which the business is not bringing in any return on the investment, does there come to a point in time when the two have to sit down and say, look, we've been going at this for 5, 7, 10 years and we're losing more money than we're making? Is that something that's talked about before it happens, or is it something that needs to be addressed when immediately is being noticed, when it's hurting the household expenses, or like you got to take from the rent to cover costs for something else?
So my experience is going to be a different, maybe different than others, right? I won't
Mhm.
necessarily say most, but I'm a
Mhm.
financial person. That's what I do, numbers, right?
Yeah.
So my planning and preparation was a lot of that in mind, right? And I have boundaries how far I will go. This is why, remember when we talked about me having a transportation business, I
Yeah.
used to have an event planning business as well.
Hmm.
So
She already said she
yeah,
got
making
13
sure.
jobs, Marcus. She got 13
Baby,
jobs.
I got 13 job, man. I told you, look, when I playing here.
The money's coming
So,
from somewhere, right?
I want some oxtails now. All the things you
yeah,
Right?
mentioned.
it's a lot. I've done a lot with my life, but I mean, what else you do? That's work, right?
Right.
So, so, but for me, numbers is on the forefront. So in my planning, and then you got to bake in those incidentals again, i.e., COVID. You couldn't
Yeah.
really expect and anticipate that, but yeah, definitely, and really depending upon what your business is and what you're doing, my recommendation, don't expect profitability within the first 3 years, if not 5. You're going to be in the red because of all of the investment of what you're doing, the purchases, the different things, if you're thinking you're going to make a return on your investment within 12 months, that's not for you.
Mhm.
That's not the way the game go. If it happens, that's you lucky, but that's not the norm. So yeah, that's not, I wouldn't say that that's a realistic expectation with any business
Mhm.
at all. So but the open lines of communication, right? If you're a single person, you can do what you want to do, right? But when
Yeah.
you're in a relationship, you got other people involved.
Yeah.
We're not gonna be sitting outside, because I'm
Yeah.
trying to sell. So, we're not losing the kids' college
Gotta be great.
funds because I'm out here with she smoke.
Yeah.
We're not doing that, right? You got to have boundaries. You have to have, okay, just like anybody who gambles, right? If you get,
Mhm.
you go to Vegas and you're like, hey, I'm taking $500.
Right.
If we lose that $500, we out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have to establish what those limits are and what those boundaries are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good feedback. Appreciate that. Those
Kid
comments.
McLean said pivot. She just did a pivot in her business.
Yeah.
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 We don't, like
Yeah.
I said, you're not quitting. We're gonna retool. We're gonna refocus. You went from transportation
Yeah.
to she smokes and FO. Speaking of which, I'm gonna put this out there, Juicy. You made a comment on one of our lives about I think it was about the flask comment. Remember that, Don? When I said something about my flask about the last live,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and she came about, hey, shop she smokes. I ain't seen no flask at shop she smokes. I was all in there looking for my shop she smoke for my CEO HEO flask. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Yeah. I think she dropped.
Yeah, she
Oh,
did. I
did
got.
we?
I'm
Did we?
getting. I
Oh,
got
there
to
she
get.
is.
I don't know what's going on. My connection is raggedy today. It's
Body.
not trying to let me be great, but I did hear the
It's
comment. No, I don't have Sprint. first of all, I'm on my home connection, and I'm not gonna talk about these people
Metro PCS.
with their business in the streets because maybe they're having a bad day. Okay.
They need to
But
pivot.
no, me and your soon to be wife have talked, sir. So do not throw she smokes under the bus. As the entrepreneur that was listening in on your show, and you said you had a need, she smokes was willing to fulfill that need.
I love
And
it.
that's why I love. That's why I love you, Juicy.
I love it.
There you go.
Get me in check
Absolutely.
and get me
There
my
you go.
flask.
Get me my
but so Don and I, mainly Don, because he's the organized one, he brought up a lot of notes of things we want to address. And it's so funny that the things that you ladies were talking about was flowing off those notes. Like, damn, did they read this shit first?
Yeah, he's sharing notes before we even got to the show, man. Y'all are hitting all these points of topic.
Yeah. But one of the things that Don wanted us to address was about the communication key factor. How are y'all going about the communication? Because everybody knows relationship is the number one thing is the communication, right?
It was in the trash at first, but we dug it out.
Oh, you
I
talking
ain't
about
gonna lie.
communication for the business?
No,
With the
with your
spouse.
partner.
With your partner.
Oh, just in general, not talking about the
Yeah.
business, but the
Yeah, like when you need $500 and you got to communicate to your partner that you lost it in the business. So
Yeah.
at some point you got to
Well,
talk.
I joke and say it was in the trash, but as you know, the male species, sometimes y'all just don't communicate well in general, or not like
sometimes.
we communicate. As my husband tells me all the time, I over communicate. That's just I'm the baby of my family, so that's just the baby of me. Everybody got to know everything. But so the communication piece, it's imperative. It is imperative that you communicate to your partner what's going on. I mean, not even, the financial piece, even whenever you first started, just what do you see yourself doing with this? Do you plan on this just being are you just going to be a vendor all the time? What's your end game with this? Do you want to open a lounge? Or are you going to try to sell cigars? Like, I wanted to know all that up front. I am the Like my life is, I'm a box checker. So I
Mhm.
need to know where we're going with this.
Yes.
And that wasn't received well in the beginning, you know. But for me, I'm like, I need to know, you know, we got stuff. We got 5 kids. We only had one through college at the time. We got 4 more kids we got to get through college. I'm like, I need to know where this is going. And so we got on the same page as far as communication.
Mhm.
But a lot of it, and I'll be honest, a lot of the communication breakdown was because I had an attitude because you were gone all the time.
Oh.
I did, and so there was this barrier of, you know, I don't there wasn't always a safe space for him to communicate with me, and so I had to move us beyond that. That was my fault, and I had to move us beyond that. And the communication, yes, I
I
will.
applaud you.
That's great.
And
That's
Great.
great for you.
Great.
Yeah.
yeah, and I recognized that. I was like, okay, he's not going to tell you if he thinks you're going to get mad every time he says something.
Yeah.
And so it opened up a door for us to say, okay. And then I actually became a little more involved. And I think it probably took a little bit of pressure off of him with, okay, how do we need to do this? What do you need me to do? I'm
Yeah.
not going, but what can I do on the back
Yeah.
end?
Yeah.
Or whenever he does have big things, I do show up, because there were some times that I didn't show up.
Mhm.
And so just started showing up, you know, in spite of.
That's great.
So I'm kind of, y'all don't make fun of me, but I run my household too, or we run our household like a business. So we have
Oh,
meetings.
Wow.
okay.
We talk about, yeah, we have itineraries, agendas on.
That's
You
good.
gotta wake up at 7 and get the
Hey,
day
Right. That's
started.
good.
yeah, because there's a lot of balls in the air,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
There's a lot
Yeah.
I
in
think
the
that's great.
balance. There's a lot, and so my brain is, my brain functions in spreadsheets and outlines, right?
That's
So, like
great.
you were saying, Fee, I'm so glad that you guys came to that happy place, because what it sounded like to me on the outside looking in is that you guys just had two different styles
Right.
of handling things, right? And so, my husband and I, again, he's more hustle game. Let's just jump, whatever. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yep.
I can't operate in those types. Don't throw me in the deep end of the pool. Like
Right.
we
Mhm. You losing
Yeah,
connection
spring
again.
kicking again.
Got that
Well,
singular
while,
dial up.
while she get,
SBC Global.
while we get ready to bring her back in, there's Kia asked a question of Fee. It says, I want to ask Fee if she suggests ideas or thoughts about the business.
She know the answer, but she want
Yeah.
to
She
share.
already knows.
Yeah.
I do suggest it. I do make suggestions, and I have ideas about the business. And that you back. Oh, she may be
Maybe.
back.
Yeah.
I do give suggestions. And I feel like, because I am the baby, I'm the product of parents being entrepreneurs. And they were very successful. My father was a multimillionaire. They were very successful entrepreneurs. So I feel like I kind of have that business acumen that's just kind of, it's been around my whole life.
Yeah.
And so I do give suggestions. Sometimes they're received and sometimes they're not. That's why I know she already knows the answer. But but we've gotten to a much better space even with that,
Cool.
with me saying, hey, because when I would come to him and say, are you gonna get a new design? Because I'm sick of seeing that same shirt. That didn't go over well. So I had to be like,
Yeah.
hey,
Oh,
so what?
that's the way you said it though, Fee.
But I was mad about something, Juicy. I came back, I bounced back. I
Let's
bounced
be
back,
real.
and I came back with
Shit come out.
so what's our spring design? I kind of was like, so are we gonna have what's hot for the summer? I kind of changed how
There
I
you
was
go.
Okay.
going about
There
it
you
Delivery.
go.
versus
There we go.
I'm sick of looking at that shirt. Don't
You
sell another one of
know,
those.
your business is your baby, and
Yeah.
It is.
so if you come up and say, "Hey, your baby ugly as shit,"
No, nobody want to admit that the baby ugly. Nobody
Nobody.
want
yeah,
to admit
There's
and the baby
nobody.
got a big old head.
Nobody.
There is a question in the chat for Juicy. Welcome back again. The question is it's being asked by Kia McLean, in which she indicates you talked about boundaries and wonder if you feel there is a balance in juggling the different things, or have you become a pro at all the variety of businesses and balancing the life that's going on. And we lose her again.
Is there a storm we don't know about? I feel like on that one versus battle.
Oh yeah. It was the first one that was terrible.
One
Oh
side baby face.
yeah.
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 Baby
I'm gonna
face.
start singing for y'all.
Please don't.
Hey, it
Hey,
may
you
not
can
be
sing it
babyface, but
on
be something.
saying
All right.
that what's love got to do with it. Go ahead, Marcus.
Yeah. Was no. But hey, I was gonna say something. I forgot what it was. I started singing to myself. I lost myself. But we'll come back to her question in a second.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I also think when you talking to your partner about their business, they need to listen. And they may not, yeah, they do. They may not take it, but we need to feel that we have a part of
Yeah.
it, a pit input. If you want us to hold you down, sometimes we want to feel like we have a stake in it,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And like I said, granted, the way you said it wasn't the best, but
Yeah.
we want some like if we want to hold it down, we want to say we got an input, you know.
Yeah.
And it,
Even, we even had to align with schedules. Like, we literally had to get like a calendar and say, okay, where are you going to be? Put it here. Because there were many times that it would just be like, he'd come home from work and he just jumped in the shower and I'm like, where are you going? Oh, I got to go to so and so. I thought I told you. And so even just trying to align with schedules, was a big deal. I just felt like I never know. I never know anything. And so we kind of we like I said, a lot of that was in the beginning, and we were able to move past it. But it was one of the things that we did have to sit down and talk about. Like, okay, you want me to support you, but you got to let me know what's going on if you want me to support. And then
Yeah.
the other, like Marcus said, on the flip side, I want to feel part of it. I want to be proud to be a part of this with you as well. She's
Yeah.
back.
I'm so sorry, guys. And my
No
husband
worries.
just told me that we did get a notice that they were doing something with the
Oh,
internet in this area.
Oh.
So I missed that message. So I greatly apologize. So
you got to apologize as long as you paid that bill with some of that entrepreneurial money.
the
It came
bill
from
is
somewhere,
paid, I
right?
promise you. But where I
Robert
live,
Perry
it's
free
a lot
product.
of rural, it's just whatever. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay. So there was a question posed to me
Yes.
about boundaries. She talked about the boundaries, and I wonder if she feels there is a balance to juggling the things, or have you become a pro? I don't think you ever become a pro at it necessarily, at least not for me, because there's always a new challenge, right? And so again, with your company or your endeavor being your baby, right? You get just like with our kids, right? At least for me, I get very defensive. Don't come for
yeah,
my kid. Don't. But when you have to take a breath and take a step back, and just like how you said you were like, okay, this shirt is ugly, I'm done with this shirt.
that's okay.
Whatever, right? It's like,
Oh
hey,
man.
you have to say, okay, look, people can have criticism, people can have insight and input, and it's those things where you remind yourself that, okay, safe space, right? This is my person. My partner is not attacking of me. If anything, he's wanting me to be better. Yeah,
Yes.
but for us, I've come across as, blessed or lucky in a lot of regards, because for example, he doesn't really get into cigar smoke. So some of the things that I do, that's just not his forte anyway. So, it's like, okay, well, I know you're going off to do that. I'm over here doing this. And then we're both so busy too, to where he has things he's juggling, I'm juggling. And, it just kind of keeps us, in sync with that. But I will say that some of the things that I hear him say, because people can tell you whatever, right? But in other audiences, right, people may ask him, we go somewhere and they're like, hey man, why aren't you out? Like, we always see her, we don't ever see you. And he'll say, I've him say, well, this is her lane, this is her thing, she smokes, that's her. And so sometimes I'll be wanting them to be there because, I may have a rough day or something's not going right, but then I just have to, suck it up and handle it. But I do appreciate the fact that he he is like, okay, this is her thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah,
So
I hope that answered the question.
if it does, and to me it does. All right. So check this out. But the biggest thing I noticed that with like you, Juicy, and like with your husband, Fee, even my relationship, the biggest thing I noticed that we have to have as a partner of an entrepreneur, especially customer
Hmm.
facing, is trust.
Trust.
Hmm.
That trust,
Oh
I think,
yeah.
Yeah.
because and you like see like your females being a
The
female
Hmm.
thirst
and
is
a,
real. The thirst be real in them lounges, at the parties. The thirst is real. In the DMs, the thirst is real.
Wow.
It is.
or their heads shaking up and down. I see you, Juicy, because
Oh
if
yeah, you do because yeah, people gonna try it. People are gonna try it, but in my corporate job or just running to Kroger, somebody's gonna try to holler at you anyway, right? So,
I don't get that
and
problem.
my husband's attractive, you know, somebody is always attractive to someone.
Yeah.
So I don't look at it like, oh well, it's the business that's doing that. No, people do that anyway.
Yeah.
It may be more because now you have access to a
Right.
larger audience or a different capacity or a different channel because now you're having to be more prevalent on social media and these other different avenues to give people what they think may be access to you. um and so that's the thing. But
I
yeah,
think
I'm
too.
not saying that I'm just always super secure because I'm a person, right?
Right.
We go through our moments and as a woman too. But, and my husband, now the good news is we've gotten to a place to where he will let me know if he's feeling like, hey, when am I going to get some time? And that's code to me, like, oh, he's feeling insecure because I'm giving all of myself and all of my time to everything else,
Mhm.
except him. And so I have to, if I value my relationship,
Right.
I need to adhere to that because that's a real thing.
Yeah. And I think too, setting those boundaries. You're a very attractive woman, so if you're out and you're posting pictures and
Thank
so
you.
people see things, and because they have this false sense of access to you, that they think they
Yeah.
really know
Yeah.
you and they really don't.
Oh,
But
yeah.
having to set those boundaries, that's what has really helped in our relationship, that there are certain
Yeah.
boundaries that you will just set, and there's certain lines that people can't cross, and that gives
Yeah.
that gives me my security.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
so
and that's great. And thank you so much for that compliment because, yeah, I always am ringed up first and
Right.
foremost, right? So it's never like, well, I didn't know she was married. You
Yeah, you
didn't?
did.
This
Yeah,
don't
you
look like
did.
no costume decorating. Like,
I'm not
okay,
married. What? Oh
you
my
didn't know I was
God!
married? Okay.
I
But
don't date
and
blind men.
sometimes depending on how those comments are delivered to me, I actually get a little insulted by it because I don't want, I can't cater to everybody, right? As long as me, my God, and my family are good, then really I don't kind of care about what nobody else got to think.
Yeah.
But sometimes as a human, you want to be conscientious. And so I never wanted to get back to my family that, oh, the way that I'm carrying myself or conducting myself would suggest otherwise.
Right.
So then that's when I get a little sensitive to it because I'm just kind of like, well, what am I doing to make you be like, oh no, no, I would never think she was married. Like, why is that? Why is that? What am I doing? To make you think that. But then I check myself too, because another thing, and this is not, I mean, unless you are, you travel a lot to other countries or whatever, me and my husband, we island people. Like, we don't, it's if you ever go to any of our celebrations, any of our fetes, carnival, anything like that, like people are naked. Like, so we don't, our views of what's appropriate may not line up with your views of what's appropriate. Cause I do get that sometimes. Like, your husband let you come outside like that? First of all, we got a problem with you telling me let, because
So everybody,
because
you
last
know,
time I checked, my husband's name was on my marriage certificate, not my birth certificate. So he don't let me do nothing. Okay, I'm a
have you
grown
noticed every time she get an attitude, her accent gets
You
heavier?
hear it kicks in big
But
time.
yeah, he sees my
Right.
clothes. Hell, he buy most of them. So I mean, so yeah, he saw me when I left the house. What's the problem? What's the
See,
problem? What's why? Right. So,
so
but I get it. And I can't help it if my body is shaped a certain way or if
Right.
I want to wear a certain thing, but that don't necessarily mean that I'm just a woman in the streets though. Like that's crazy to me.
yeah.
But
So you know something.
you
So
know,
we talk about trust, and I believe one of the things that helps leads to the trust is two things that you guys said. One, the first one was when he said he needs his time. You better make it happen.
Right.
Or your partner
yeah,
needs his time. That you
Yep.
better make it happen.
yeah,
Because if soon as some if you stop
yeah.
making time for your partner, things your mind wanders.
Yeah.
You know, and two,
Yeah.
which I know, I'm gonna give my flowers to my babe too, which I know she do. God damn it, she gonna act the same way in the streets if I'm
Yep.
there or I'm not there.
Yeah.
So
Facts.
you can't you so nobody can come and tell me shit.
Yeah.
And you know what? We are all with attractive. Obviously,
Right.
we would attractive people. We wouldn't be with them if they weren't attractive, right? So, are you really to think that the only person that found
Yeah.
them attractive is you? No. So, Fee,
Listen,
somebody
I
go
be
try your husband.
I
Marcus,
be trying
somebody
to
go
make
come
sure
meet
he
you
be
here.
cute
They're
too.
gonna
I be
do
like,
it.
now I'm getting you
Like,
cute. I'm getting you cute while you going out the door. Be careful.
Yeah.
You got your man be gone spray?
yeah, but at the end of the day, you're right. But you know, somebody who is wanting to do whatever.
Yeah.
People are grown. So if somebody gonna step out, they're gonna step out. Whether it's, you know, like I say, at the grocery store, laundromat, whatever the case, right? So, you know, you just
Yeah.
have to have that solidified.
Yeah. Eh,
But it
I
does get
mean,
rocky. I get it. Because one of the jobs my husband
Oh,
works in nightlife.
Oh wow.
yeah. Yeah.
So imagine that. Imagine that. And he has managed all kind of clubs. He's GM'd a lot of clubs, some of them even strip
He
clubs. So
he had
baby,
to
don't
he got
talk
to
to
be in
me
a bubble.
about
When we go
like
out the bubble,
insecurity.
I'd have to bubble wrap him to go
Like,
outside. Where's the bubble wrap? Yeah.
but no, I just always was like, just hey man, we're human, we're fallible. So just make sure if you ever take that roll of dice, make
Yeah.
sure you gamble up because
Let's strike out.
make sure you gamble
you're
up.
right.
Because if things go sideways with us,
Right.
you don't want to go down with somebody that is
Right.
You
less,
better throw
you
them
know.
dice out.
So,
Just throw the
but
dice
I
out.
can't control them things. The whole point of it
Right.
is I can't control it, right? You can't control what
Yeah.
another person does.
Yep.
All you can do is
About
choose
trust.
to
Right.
trust
Yeah.
them or
And
not
let
to.
them, they have
And
to
that's
make
it.
the
That's
right
it.
decision, especially when they want to come home and get in the house, right? You got there fooling around. That ain't the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Heck no.
yeah.
I ain't messing around. No, no, no.
Call it
And
Tyrone.
tell it ain't like
No.
Tyrone. I don't know if y'all know, but Juicy seems like she can scrap a little bit, mess around and have a goat
You got
on
to
the
fight.
bed.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, I used to be. Yeah, I used to be
Oh,
a
wow.
Oh
boxer
wow.
actually. So yeah, I got look. Let me tell you something. When I get ready to write some type of
Juicy
memoir,
has left no stone. She's left
people
no
be
stones
like,
unturned.
"Who
I
is
mean, not
this
one stone
woman?"
unturned for her. When she,
Oh,
Now what? I was
oh,
a
wow.
kickboxer though,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Going
Oh
to
no,
pride his head.
I yeah, yeah. You'll drink these licks up. That's for sure.
Ain't nobody going to sleep until we get stuff straight around here.
right.
That's probably why my husband don't worry about me that much. He like, oh,
Right.
okay, try it if you want
I
to.
got
See
my
how
ass
it
kicked. You going to get your ass kicked.
goes.
Yeah.
And so Let me ask you this, you ladies, and how is important this is. My question to you is a support network. Do you maintain a
Mm.
strong support network, or do you think you need a support network?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Like with anything, you need a support network. But I really needed someone who understood that world, the cigar world. That wasn't my space. I'm an athlete. You take me to the gym, I got you. I know all about the gym. I didn't know anything about cigars, cigar world, nothing. And thank goodness that my husband's skillet happens to be Kia McLean, the poet, and she is Miss Know It all about the cigar world. And so the funny thing is that
She
the
is
first
know it
time
all.
I met her was
A
the
great
first
one.
time he did his first vending event. That was the first time I met her, and she's always been a good sounding board for me. One of the things is, I feel like having that network and having that support, but it also has to be someone who is going to give it to you both ways. She had no problem telling me, popping my collar or pulling me back when I needed to be reeled in as well. It wasn't just always let's just bash you because he's doing something wrong.
Mm.
There were times that she had to reel me in as well. But having that, like, she is still my. Usually, if I call her, she'd be like, "What do you do?" Because it's him. But I can give one. He listens to her. He respects her. They love each other. Their friendship is true, tried and true and real. And I absolutely
Mhm.
love that she is his friend. And I love that she knows she's seen me through a lot of it. She knows when it's BS, when it's not. But just having her to be a sounding board has been great. Like I said, I'm the baby. I have brothers. They're not my support system when something's
Yeah.
not right at home. They're just not it because they're always going to be team fee. He's always going to be wrong, and it's my little sister. So having that outside of your
Yeah.
family sometimes is key. It's been key for me. And so I want to give her her flowers. I know she's on. I want to give her her
Yes,
flowers because she has literally gotten me through a lot of this because she knows the world, his world, better than I do.
that's awesome.
Same thing for you, Juicy. What you think?
That's awesome. Okay, so I got a confession. so, so I have been
Hmm.
burned. Yeah, I have some, which I'm not, I'm sure other people have as well. So yeah, I need to expand my support system. I do have, some good folks in the corner. Um, one of my good girlfriends, her name is Leisha. I call her L Boogie. Man, there's nothing that she would just listen and hear stuff that I'm thinking of doing. And so her initial reaction is, what time I need to be there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, she don't wait for me to ask her or try to figure out or put it on me to need her or whatever. She's like, whatever my friend needs, like, I'm there, right? Like, it's just a given type of thing, right? And yeah, I can definitely bounce ideas off of her. And likewise, V, when you say, your brothers can't be your support system, my husband, for certain things, cannot be my support system, right? Because men, in my opinion, they're just wired to be fixers.
Right.
So if I were to come home and say, hey, I had a rude customer come into the Mobu today, or whatever the case is, he just like, well, where they at? I need to go. He ready to knock somebody's head off type of thing for violating me or whatever the case is. And it's like, man, maybe I just wanted to talk about it. We ain't gotta,
We ain't trying to hear
gotta
that.
beat
We
nobody
ain't
up
trying to hear that.
type of thing. But that's just the protect their mentality,
Yeah.
right? That's what
Yeah.
he's like. Well, let's handle this. What's going on? So, but in terms of a support system, and I've actually had this conversation with El Boogie that I do need to work more of applying what I do in my corporate space to my entrepreneur space.
Hmm.
But trust comes up with me because
Hmm.
of some past experiences I've had with people dropping me, basically, right? To
Yep.
where I put you in that role where I look to you for that type of community, that type of guidance, that type of support. And for whatever reason, you've dropped me. And so it's hard to recover from that and to begin to trust again and let other people in that capacity.
Mhm.
So yeah, I have some support, and I value them wholeheartedly, but I do acknowledge that I should improve upon that.
That's good. That's good. Good
Yeah.
feedback. We appreciate that.
Yeah, so like Kia says, a good support system is so important, and
Yeah.
even as the mate of an entrepreneur, you know how much it helps me just listening to the entrepreneurial side. It helps me understand what they're going through.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, this is why she talks to this person every day. This is so they because they can understand the struggle
Yeah.
way more, or just a little bit more than I can. And they need
Yeah.
that. And I have to accept that. You know, it's
Yeah.
not that they trying to take time from me. That
Mhm.
support. It's like there's certain things they can fulfill. So like like her skillet, you know, he serves a purpose.
Right.
You know, I serve my purpose in her life. He serves his purpose, and I accept that and I understand that, and I realize that is necessary for her
Yeah.
sanity.
Yep.
Because if Kia is not right, my home ain't right.
Yeah.
So, hey, so that one-legged man at your house, let him keep doing his thing. You know,
And you know what, Marcus? I'm gonna salute both you and Fee for that. And Dawn, if you are also a supporter of an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
because you guys don't get your flowers enough, because it's hard. I know it's hard on that side to because sometimes you bear the brunt of the frustration and the anger and the angst and all of the things that because the entrepreneurship world is a roller coaster ride. And you guys are right there. You're right there in the caboose going up and down on this roller coaster. Like,
True.
I didn't sign up for this,
Put your
but you
seatbelt
on the rise.
on.
because one of the things we have to realize which is hard, is that we're trusting something we have no little control of.
Right.
Yeah.
In the basic of decisions that the entrepreneur make for that business, we have little control of something that's affecting our life.
Right.
And
Mhm.
this is why trust is important. I trust that you're going to do the best for the family.
Right.
I trust you're never going to put us in harm's way. I trust that you're going to do is in the long run is going to make us better. I
Right.
trust. I trust. And if it don't work, fine. But it won't because I stifled it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah.
your decision. If you ever, if you don't, fuck it. We still riding. We still
Right.
riding. I
And
got you.
guess what? That is one of the most perfect displays of love, because that's a faith jump. That's a faith leap. When you just be like, "Hey, wherever we going, I'm here with you."
Yep.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's been many times that I just said, well, if it don't work, what's next?
Yeah.
What's next?
Like he had said, you pivot or you try something else.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
next?
But
Yeah.
but you got, I think we've said it, we've touched on it, but if you are paired up with someone who does have that spirit and you stifle that spirit,
Yeah.
you're killing
Oh
them.
man.
Like
Yeah.
it's a part, it's so big as a part of them that you really choke them out if they
Yeah.
cannot. And my personality type, mm-mm, I can't successfully be partnered up with someone who doesn't allow me to be free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Relationship ain't gonna last long. I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell you.
Exactly.
It's because I'm gonna choose me every time. So I have to, and if you genuinely love, this is adult stuff we talking, right?
Hmm.
So genuinely understand love and sacrifice and all the things that's associated with that, then you understand, like you said, Marcus, that if Kia is not right, my home isn't right. Right.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
to support and help your person develop and flourish and grow not only helps them in their plight in life to feel self-fulfilled, and but it helps you too. It helps because it's helping the relationship.
Yeah,
Great.
agreed.
Boy, I love this conversation. Real quick, Kia says, my previous partner tried to choke my gift, and that is way too hard. Can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah, you
know,
can't. You can't
Because
stifle. You can't stifle. It's just that's just not like it just it won't work ever. It
Mhm,
won't
ev-
work.
mhm,
They'll build resentment and everything
Yeah.
else. So
mhm.
just
Yeah.
figure out a way to get on board. It's part of it. And I know you mentioned earlier, Juicy, like it's not what we signed up for, but it is. It is what you signed up for. It really is.
Well,
You signed up
well,
for,
through thick
um,
and thin.
yeah.
yeah,
This is it. This is it.
Yeah.
it's gonna
And
be.
if the shoes were, it should also give comfort that if it was something too, like if the, tables turn and it's something that you want to do, ideally or
Exactly.
hopefully you would know
Yeah.
that that person is going to be there for you. And really, they'll get it. Like some of the things that maybe was a little rocky path, rocky road for you to acclimate to, for us, we probably jump right in and be like, oh yeah, we know we
You're
yeah, we
right.
know how this thing gonna go. So you might even get like you might arrive to that place of understanding
Yeah.
quicker because
Quicker.
that
Yeah.
person already gets it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I love you ladies. I love how you go about things, how you handle it. I love first off, Fee, you know how I feel about you. You know, you you like family, you know,
Yeah.
aka you do Bramble Queen, you know.
I gotta give me one of these brand. Look, I'm sick of hearing about these brambles.
Just
Look,
you live down the street.
you li-
yeah, but I can't just show up at the house like.
Gotta get an invite.
you,
The
you Corner
Brambles.
Shebang, you
If
But
can.
no,
you,
Kianya
you
has
actually, I
said
was like,
though for
actually, you
sure
can.
for Dallas Smoke Fest, he definitely said he might have something at the house. And I said, well, okay, if I gotta wait till November, I'm cool, but I'm gotta give me one of these damn
Yeah,
brambles.
you can get one this summer. Just come on. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
I'm coming too.
Come on, you around the corner.
Shoot. But Don, you have anything else to say to these wonderful ladies?
Oh, I do appreciate these ladies coming on and sharing their experiences, their passion, and as well as their perspective on love and business. Because this is definitely a great conversation to have with them. I'm learning something as well as sharing knowledge that I've had through my entrepreneurial journey as well. So I do appreciate these ladies coming on.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Thank
for
you for
having me.
having us.
You're welcome.
But you know something, Don?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't. It's hard for me to let these ladies go. It's really
Okay.
hard because they're so wonderful, and you know, you know what we need. I said we probably wasn't gonna do it, but I think we need to do it.
Let's do
What?
it.
You think we need to do the segment, Don?
Let's do the segment, sir.
So, ladies, we have a segment called On the Spot.
Uh-oh.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So we ask anybody out there who's listening to who's tuned in right now to ask a question, a random question, or something about the topic or something to us panel, us people on this panel, and we're going to go off the top of the dome and tell us how we feel or our opinion. And I think
Okay.
we should do it.
Let's
Let's
do
do
it.
it.
We doing
Let's
it
do it. I'm
live.
talking about.
We
Let's
doing
do
it
it.
live.
Let's hit the intro.
I like that little music.
Hmm.
Spot. Any random questions from the audience or from the guests can be asked of me and Marcus, and we will give our opinion and thoughts.
Yeah, and these ladies are here because we got these ladies got to put their 2 cents into it. Because your 2 cents, her 2 cents, we got 8 cents around here.
Yeah.
That's the entrepreneurial math.
Working towards a dollar.
Yeah. So we actually introduced this segment about what? About 2 months, about a month ago, Don, maybe two?
Well, about 2 months ago, yeah.
About 2 months ago, because we want to make sure everybody get a chance to ask their questions or their thoughts. And sometimes we even maybe come up with an idea for another segment, and it allows for the conversations what's in the future, and it allows us to get a little bit closer to our audience. And I think this is going to be a perfect day. I know somebody got a question out there. If not, we'll come up with one because this is too
Come
much.
on, y'all. This is your chance. Ask
Yeah.
away.
We need the
What
Jeopardy.
y'all want to know? What y'all want to know?
There's a question from Kim McClain. It says, Don, as you start your entrepreneur journey, do you find it lonely or do you feel you have a support system? And I'm going to be honest. When I started it, it was lonely. It was a lonely journey because I was feeling my way out as I got an understanding of the concept of creating the business. Then you reaching out, you're branching out, you're experiencing connections with others and getting feedback and advice as how they're running their business. And then you, as Kia McClain said earlier, you make a pivot if something is not functioning or working within a time constraint or a perspective that you may see. Because I started out as a writer, as an author, as a poet. I wrote a novel, I've wrote poetry books. Now I want to take that to another level and create another concept. So I'm working on some ideas, and it takes time. And again, it's not going to happen quickly. So I'm just reaching out. I'm working with Marcus to get this entrepreneurial spirit because he's the man behind the keyboards, and working with cameras. May even go into a little photography and film. So just finding other ways to continue that entrepreneurial journey, as well as keeping that signature stamp on it. Because as a writer, I always want to be creative. When we do this show, I do a lot of writing for the show because that's in me. So I may even write a script one day for a movie. Who knows? But
you do it.
Avenues.
Right.
To
You
be.
gotta do it.
To
You
be.
do it. Do it.
That's
I
awesome.
am going to do it.
Yeah.
Working on a novel right now. It's not really a novel. It's more of like a memoir of my experience in corporate America, from my conception back in 1992 or 1999 all the way to now. So that book, hopefully, if I write it to a masterpiece, can be something that can be turned into a movie.
That's awesome.
You better make a better version of the Office Space.
It's gonna be way better. It's gonna be more serious. It's gonna we serious about what we do. So
Right.
Yeah.
so yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah,
Appreciate
that's
that.
good.
Proud of you.
All right, so she come up with another question. When you mess up with a writer, it flies off the top of the head.
It come off the dome for her.
Boy, it says, "Babe." Just in case y'all don't know, I'm Babe. Do you feel supported in the podcast entrepreneur? Y'all can read that shit.
Just skip that word. Do you feel supported in the podcast
In your
journey?
podcast journey.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, do I feel supported? Of
We
course
just
I
gonna
do.
skip that one.
So do I feel supported? I feel supported every time. She was the one who gave me the courage to really step out there. A lot of people don't know, and don't laugh even more. I don't care if you laugh. I'm an instructor or a trainer by trade.
Okay.
So I speak and teach every day. And it's funny because I have two different personalities. And you guys don't know this, but my work personality is actually more outgoing than my personal personality.
Well, I'm a Gemini, so I got 6 personalities. They all got names. So look,
That's
this
that
ain't
Jamaican.
bother me.
You
Corporate market.
got a jerk Gemini.
I was Gemini, so hey, okay, I understand.
But everybody knows I don't like camera. I don't like film. I don't like being, but she supports me. It's like, okay, when I say, babe, let's do this. Now that I'm into it, like, let's do this. She's like, okay, go for it. Or we need this. When I, but she also, when I say support me, she also guides me. But like I said, she is business oriented. She is an
Yeah.
entrepreneur.
Yeah.
She has been going through certain steps. So why should I stumble in a place she already been through?
Yeah.
That don't make sense.
Yeah, you better get the
Yeah.
cliff
Yeah.
notes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I got plenty of, and Don, I'm right there. I'm looking at you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the shit you do with this makes it that much better, and I appreciate that because I think
You're
we're
welcome,
a
sir.
counterbalance,
Yeah.
and where you're more of the structured, articulated, illiterate because you can read them big words.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah. So you could, and I realize that's support I need, and I appreciate that. So those are the things that,
You're welcome, sir.
and like you ladies down there, when I asked you to come on, you had no hesitation. So that's another support, and I know how much the support is for you, Fee, to come on here on draft day.
Oh my
So
God.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Marcus owe her a draft. Yeah.
It's all right.
Big love there.
Yes.
Anything for you, Marcus.
Yeah. But that's
Marcus.
Marcus, darling.
Yes.
yeah. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, this was another wonderful Wednesday Night Live. And I think it was extra special because our guest blessed us.
Indeed.
And like Babe said, transparent. Get that word, Don.
There you go.
Transparency.
Skip it.
Transparency.
Skip it.
Was spot on, right on. Let us in, damn it.
Right.
Be my counterbalance, Don.
And what's so great about this is they gave us free game. I mean, some of this stuff you have to go pay $1,500 for a class and sit there and then they give you a piece of paper. They've given you free game. The hustle is real, as we talked about earlier. So if you're paying attention and you want to get the concept, pretty much the blueprint is here within what these ladies have provided, and you just got to follow your passion, follow your dreams, and you too can make it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The knowledge they just gave out is a support system within itself.
Yeah.
They didn't hide it.
Ain't no gatekeeping.
No
No.
gatekeeping. No
No
Kevin Hart here, man.
gatekeeping. And with that being said,
Yeah.
we're going to be out.
Awesome.
All right. Had a great
Everyone.
time. Thank you guys.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming on.
Bye.